A lot to unpack coming out of Payback this past weekend in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and of course, the biggest story coming out of this pay-per-view was the fact that the Judgment Day, the stable, the group that has dominated Monday Night Raw for the past year, now holds, every single member holds gold. Because Rhea Ripley retained her Women's World Championship against Raquel Rodriguez actually, this past Saturday night. Dominic Mysterio, he didn't really have a match, Dirty Dom Mysterio, but he's been a part of NXT storylines and he is still the NXT North American Champion. But this past weekend at Payback, Damian Priest and Finn Balor finally got on the same page and they were able to defeat the then current reigning undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a Pittsburgh street fight. A street fight that, by the way, was entertaining as hell, especially with the fact that anything goes. I mean, Kevin Owens with that beautiful risk-taking that I would not have approved. I would not have actually done that, but then, again, I'm not a professional wrestler, but Kevin Owens with that beautiful swanton from one of the stands onto Damian Priest, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken on that part, but he almost missed the entire thing completely, which was troubling. Them taking it to the stands, taking it to the crowd, and then that magical moment of them coming out with their Pittsburgh Penguins outfits, hockey sticks as well. That got a big pop from the crowd. And again, like I said during the preview, I was not expecting Owens and Zayn to lose the championship. As a matter of fact, I was expecting them to retain, and that creates even more tension amongst the Judgment Day between Balor and Priest, who haven't been able to get on the same page, but now they're the tag team champions. So as far as that goes, with that story beat, I'm expecting Finn Balor to keep making his case, or actually start making the case to the rest of the Judgment Day as to why JD McDonough, his running mate, his friend, a man who has been helping them win the matches and now tag team titles at this point. I'm expecting Finn Balor to start making a case for JD McDonough to be a part of the Judgment Day, an official part of Judgment Day business and the group, and we'll just see how that plays out. Now, with all four current members of the Judgment Day with gold, that still leaves Damian Priest as senior Money in the Bank. He still has that briefcase. He can still cash it in at any moment in time to become world champion or to become the undisputed champion if he ever finds Roman Reigns over on SmackDown. So that's still going to come into play. Again, I predicted Damian Priest would cash in on Rollins. WWE decided against that. For now, eventually Priest is going to have to cash it in, and I believe it's going to be a cash in on Rollins. Successful cash in. So with that said, Judgment Day seems to be running on all cylinders. But again, JD McDonough comes into play very soon. That Money in the Bank briefcase comes into play very soon. So big things coming for that stable in the very near future. Now, as far as the World's Heavyweight Championship is concerned, Seth frickin' Rollins retained his title by defeating Shinsuke Nakamura in a really psychological battle. And what I mean by psychological is Nakamura went hard onto the storyline injury, I still believe it's storyline injury, of Seth Rollins' back. His back injury, something that he's been nursing for over 4+ years, and apparently Nakamura has been the only one to really figure it out and find it out, and now he targeted that back throughout the entirety of the match. That wasn't enough. Seth freaking Rollins prevailed. But I like the little twist of the little change of character Nakamura is having. Like I said in the previous show, I didn't see Nakamura going past this pay-per-view, going past this match, this championship opportunity against Rollins. I felt like this was a one and done. But the main event from Payback last night definitely left me wanting more of these two going at it. Especially again with the psychology told by Nakamura, with the fact that Rollins is really taken aback and threatened by the fact that Nakamura keeps mentioning his family. This feud, this rivalry, and the matches that these two have been able to give the fans, especially at Payback as well, and there's potential to make it even better in the very near future. It won't happen at Superstar Spectacle. Rollins already booked for a match for that event, but Fastlane is coming up October, and I feel like October, November is a perfect month to actually have Priest cash in. Again, I keep saying this, and like I said, I'm not in control. I'm just taking what WWE gives us, the fans, the entertainment value, the potential storylines value that they could bring in episodes for tonight's Monday Night Raw going forward, and I'm going based off of that. And I think Rollins will make it to WrestleMania as the world's heavyweight champion. It won't be Nakamura. It won't be Priest as world champion, but Priest needs to cash it in, needs to become world champion. I kind of view it a little bit as Seth frickin' Rollins is in his current John Cena run in 2005. Priest is Edge. Priest is going to cash in. Eventually, he's going to lose the title back to Rollins, and then Rollins goes into WrestleMania world champion, facing, I don't know, a superstar that might be unemployed at this point. Who knows? Somebody who wins the Rumble, somebody who's trying to finish the story. We'll just have to wait and see. But Rollins is definitely primed for a top-notch position for next year's WrestleMania in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So as far as that concerned, Seth Rollins retaining the championship, I had absolutely no problem with that. Seth Rollins walking out as world champion was unexpected for me because I thought Priest was going to cash it in. But again, it just, it happens. So, other matches concerning the pay-per-view. Again, it seemed like a little throwaway pay-per-view, but as a matter of fact, it was a pretty entertaining show from top to finish. Cody Rhodes making the announcement that Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso, is back, and he is back on the Monday Night Raw roster. That's a storyline to pay attention to. We've got to wait and see what kind of segment he gets into on Monday Night Raw. And he's completely separated himself from the bloodline, who is all SmackDown business related. So again, that's going to be interesting. It's a perfect way to keep the Uso twins, the Uso brothers, away from each other until they have to go one-on-one with each other at WrestleMania. That match is going to happen whether we like it or not, whether we want it or not. It's going to happen at WrestleMania. So they have to keep them apart, much like Cody Rhodes is on Raw and Roman Reigns is on SmackDown after their WrestleMania encounter. You can't go too damn long for too many times before it dries up, it runs out. So main event Jey Uso on Monday Night Raw. He'll definitely have people waiting on him to fight him on that side because he made a ton of enemies as a part of the bloodline, and he's a babyface now. He doesn't really care. He has the swag to beat main event Jey Uso, and the fans love him even more for that. But again, tonight's Monday Night Raw will give us a clearer picture of where main event Jey Uso is going in the very near future. Cody Rhodes, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, he has his pick of the litter of, as far as opponents for the next few pay-per-view events. He could face Jimmy Uso. We all know WWE has no problems having inter-brand feuds. We just saw that with LA Knight and The Miz. So he could face off against Jimmy Uso for that very fact that Jey Uso is now on Monday Night Raw. He could face off against Grayson Waller. He's on SmackDown. A little bit of disrespect right there. And Grayson Waller is pretty high up in terms of WWE officials liking him. So that might be an option. And I know Cody Rhodes has been making a case to officials in the back as far as John Cena having a match, a feud, a rivalry with John Cena in the very near future, trying to make that passing of the torch moment actually official in the middle of that ring. That might come into play. And again, I'm talking about three guys who are currently on a SmackDown roster. John Cena is a free agent for all intents and purposes, but again, he's going to be more a part of SmackDown than Monday Night Raw. So Cody Rhodes, we just need to keep him away from the World Championship for the time being, because finishing a story in September, October, even November or December, it's not the best. It's not the most romantic way of finishing a story. So I don't think WWE wants to take that route. So again, Cody needs to stay away from the world title in the main event for the time being. As far as the LA Knight win over The Miz, yeah, that was expected. There was no way, absolutely no way, The Miz was going to walk out of that pay-per-view, out of Payback, out of Pittsburgh, with the win over the self-proclaimed megastar in LA Knight. Yeah, not especially after the fact that The Miz pretty much exposed a few of his character flaws. And, hey, granted, I took a few of those character flaws back. I got cake over my face on SmackDown because LA Knight went after The Miz, and he did it successfully. He did what he was supposed to do. He came back with the rebuttal, and he came out looking even stronger. Yes, he lost momentum, but again, he wins the match. He beats The Miz. The Miz gets his comeuppance. That's all you need. And now LA Knight, yeah, can go on to bigger, better things over on SmackDown, although what else can he do? I mean, he's a babyface now. Rey Mysterio is the United States champion. He's a babyface. He's not going to go after Roman Reigns. He's not quite at that level yet. So, if you ask me, I wouldn't be surprised if they keep LA Knight and The Miz going at it for at least until Fastlane. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they got to keep putting him in prominent positions and giving him a guy like The Miz who knows how to handle the crowd, who knows how to time his positioning and his wrestling maneuvers in matches. He learned that from the best in John Cena. It wouldn't be the absolute worst, because there have been times in the past where LA Knight has missed quite a few spots in terms of timing, in terms of actually making it look smooth for WWE standards are concerned. So keeping him with The Miz, it might be the way to go. Again, John Cena is right then and there on SmackDown as well. That might be an opportunity to get LA Knight even more over. My only concern is, John Cena has a tendency to involuntarily and accidentally bury his opponents when it comes to his mic work. I mean, we just saw it on SmackDown, like what he did to Jimmy Uso with one sentence. I mean, that was enough. That's enough said. And him going up against LA Knight, sure. Would it be interesting and entertaining? Fantastic. Absolutely. But, Cena did that to Theory earlier in the year. He did that to Reigns back in 2017. And it took him a long while to really get back on his feet. I would hate for that to happen to LA Knight just when he's on the up and coming. So we'll just have to wait and see. Fantastic steel cage match to open up the show. Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, Hall of Famer versus Big Time Bex, future Hall of Famer. They went back and forth. They gave us the opening contest that this kind of pay-per-view needed. And of course, the result being that Becky Lynch ends this feud. She gets her win. She ends everything that has to do with Trish Stratus. And, there was a little bit of a tease of Becky Lynch heading down over to developmental to NXT to face off against the current NXT Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton. I'm not against that, but I would much rather prefer Becky Lynch go after the Women's World Champion, Rhea Ripley. But again, that might just have to do with timing. That might just have to do with the fact that, again, it's September, it's October. It's not quite the right time to give us Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. That might be a WrestleMania main event for Philadelphia, WrestleMania 40, being that we have Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair on the other side of things. So, again, timing, scheduling, they're planning ahead. And again, Payback, throwaway pay-per-view, yes, but entertaining as hell, fantastic. They're trying to do the same with Fastlane. It's the fall part of the year where they try to give more opportunities to lesser-known stars. I'm just saying. And the fact that Zoe Stark turned on Trish Stratus, hell, let's get these two going at it one-on-one. Zoe Stark, Trish Stratus at Fastlane. That'll really get Zoe Stark over the hump. Again, pretty much that opening contest, steel cage match, hit everything that needed to be hit. Becky Lynch gets the win. Trish Stratus remains the heel, and now she gets to go up and try to get somebody as talented as Zoe Stark over with the WWE audience as a babyface, as a pseudo babyface. So again, that plays into what happens tonight on Monday Night Raw. Can't wait for that. In other results, Rey Mysterio retained his United States title against Austin Theory. That was to be expected. I'm expecting Santos Escobar to eventually, tease, ask, rumble the waters between the LWO to ask for his United States Championship match that he, quote-unquote, earned a few weeks back and Theory screwed him out of. I'm hoping that storyline comes into play very, very soon. But that's pretty much all fantastic. All the things that happened at Payback, all the positive things that happened at Payback. I don't really like to talk about negatives. Can't really say too many negatives about anything. Rhea Ripley retaining over Raquel. That was to be expected. The match dragged out a bit at times. It didn't really seem... I never really had... as a viewer, I never really had the clear... what's the word for it? I never really felt like Raquel could beat Rhea Ripley in this match. Going at it from the minute the bell rang to the minute Rhea Ripley pinned Raquel to Dominic's interference, never at all during the entirety of this match did I feel that Raquel had an actual chance at beating Rhea Ripley, and that to me is an issue because there should at least be that small percentage chance that the challenger could beat the champion. That wasn't the case here. That was one of my negatives with the pay-per-view itself. But as far as tonight, Monday Night Raw is concerned, make sure that you tune in to the USA Network for what I am hoping is the main event of tonight's show, because Chad Gable gets one more shot at the Intercontinental Championship. He faces off against the Ring General Gunther in the main event of Monday Night Raw. It better be the main event of Monday Night Raw. And I want Chad Gable to win the Intercontinental Championship so damn bad. I really, really do. The only issue is Honky Tonk Man's record, 454 days, all the way back in the 80s. Gunther's current title reign, 451 days. Which means if Gunther wants to beat that record, if he wants to write his name in history, he needs to retain his title tonight against Chad Gable. And it can be done. It can absolutely be done that he retains the championship and he makes Chad Gable look like $1 million. But Chad Gable winning that championship would be chef's kiss. Thank you. So with that said, tune in later on to the USA Network to see if Chad Gable is able to go against all odds and beat the Ring General and become Intercontinental Champion and earn the title, a singles championship that really cements him even further as a top single star in my book and in the eyes of many fans out there. But again, all we can expect from tonight's main event, Intercontinental Championship match, is a slobber knocker, match of the year candidate, and I'm all up for it. So with that said, tune in later on to USA Network for another episode of Monday Night Raw. What did you think about Payback this past Saturday night in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? Was it good? Was it great? Was it bad? What did you like? What didn't you like? Leave it in the comment section below. I'm Alexis Carrillo. This has been Wrestling Talk, and I'll see you next time.